So my hub, axle hub, knuckle, bearing, rotor, rusty assembly. I can't believe I got rust on that. I just sprayed it with white grease, which tends to dry. And I'm gonna, if I stick this thing on the ball joints, I'm gonna put this camera on a piece of 4x4 lumber sitting on top of my floor jack that I got from my neighbor that he bought brand new and died soon after, and then it came back to life, and I've been using it for a zillion years. He died 15 years ago, so time sure flies. Let's see. Head leg, axle. Yeah, I think you can see me struggle. This thing is heavy. It's got this freaking wire for the anti-lock brake, and it's almost in my way. So I gotta slide this thing over the axle. I'm gonna throw some white grease in here. Could use fluid fill, but this stuff is much cheaper. Third the price, quarter the price. Rust! Rust creeps in everywhere. It's unbelievable. Leave me alone. I don't like rust. A bit of grease on the seal. Run dry. I put anti-seize on everything. Is my knee going to be in the way? Nobody wants to see my knee, which is still swollen, still the same. Hasn't gotten better, hasn't gotten worse. I put white grease. Oh, this is heavy. Oh. It's a good test of your back. How do I get that on the lower ball joint? These are all possibilities, and that's really the thing. That's the worst case scenario here isn't just really, really bad. It's also not down there. There's so much uncertainty around it that it's clear we want to avoid this at all costs. Well, so far, there hasn't been a 500 drop in a day. Put that on the lower ball joint, then how do I put the axle on? Let's hope so. I think right now it does still remain the extreme scenario that we've got. Very tight. The hope is that there goes the bottom seal. Or at least Congress will restore that falling off whatever's left of it. And do the right thing. But look, the problem is that we're coming up on these deadlines, and at some point you have to worry that we're just going to trip. There we go. And I worry about that each time. And I also barely. Oh, you got the knee. The last time we're going to see a situation where this kind of political practice leads to the threat of default. Garcia of the Financial Times. Thanks so much for joining us. Don't have it upside down. Nope. Thanks, Jeremy. And you're listening to Here and Now. Funding for Here and Now comes from creators of MATLAB and Signalink software. Find over 200 job openings at mathworks.com. Oh, grease on the camera. Line that ball joint up. I'm Brian Taliaferro, manager of special giving at VPR. When you need VPR in your will, your legacy will go to the next generation of public radio listeners. You don't have to be wealthy. It's easy to do, and it's a meaningful way to extend your support of VPR into the future. You can find out more about VPR's Phillips Legacy Society at vpr.net/plangiving, or call me, Brian Taliaferro, at 802-654-4388. Support for VPR comes from Keene State's Redfern Arts Center, twisting the human body with Globalist Dance Theater on October 15th. Information at keene.edu. And from Blue Mountain Power, serving Blue Mountains reliably since 1893, and introducing 21st century smart grid technology today. Struggle. What a struggle, huh? Would it be any easier if I was at eye level? Too bad the rotor's on this side of the...
It's Here and Now.
Flange.
When they were growing up, the family called them Benny and Jenny. Benny would become Benjamin Franklin, founding father. Jenny was Jane Franklin, his youngest sister. As historian Jill Lepore writes, he loved no one longer, she loved no one better. And he wrote more letters to Jane than to anyone else. Jane wrote back, even though she had no formal education, women did not in those days. Their letters form Book of Ages, the life and opinions of Jane Franklin. Jill Lepore's new book has been nominated for a National Book Award for nonfiction. Here Now's Alex Ashlock spoke with Jill Lepore near the Franklin Memorial and the Granary Burial Ground. That's the colonial era cemetery in Boston where Ben and Jane's parents are buried.
Why doesn't the axle go into the bearing?
He was the youngest boy, and she was the youngest girl in the family of 17 children by 2 wives. Josiah Franklin, who was a soap boiler and candle maker, who had come to Boston from England.
Here comes some bad weather. See the sky moving big time.
17 kids, they lived the longest, and for much of for the last decades of their lives,
17 kids. Benjamin Franklin and his sister were among 17 kids from 2 mothers.
And they outlived, well, definitely in Jane's case, outlived their own children.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that's great about them is they really span the whole of the 18th century. It's just this epic moments in Western history, certainly in American history. And you can follow over the course of their lives, everything happens to them. Most of them are things that Franklin is actually doing and responsible for, and that Jane is a witness to.
There we
it's
go.
A fantastic story.
Where's the nut?
And it's traceable the whole way through because Franklin wrote more letters to his sister Jane than he wrote to anyone else. I mean, here's this man who corresponded with kings, you know, but he remained deeply loyal to this sister, having felt singularly responsible for her. So it's this great untold story of American letters.
And many of his letters survive, but hardly really any of hers do. So how do you write a biography about somebody who you don't have a whole lot of information or insight to, or does that come in part from his letters to her?
It's a tricky biographical task. I came to think about it. So what happened is they corresponded for 63 years, and the first 3 decades of that correspondence, all you have is Franklin's side of it. So, you can kind of deduce what she had written in her letters, because he'll say, in your last 2 minutes, you told me that our sister Mary had died. I'm so sorry to hear that.
I didn't remember memory.
So,
No, I had 33
you can
minutes.
write in the negative space.
Oh, what a struggle.
It's not the same as having her voice.
And the seal didn't fall off? Nope.
I've thought about writing this project for years
Half the
before I
seal.
finally committed to it, because it's really, in some ways, an almost insurmountable evidentiary dilemma. But then I had sort of this inside a ways through. I thought about
I wear gloves. Save my hands.
Franklin invented the bifocal.
I only get 2 hands and 10 fingers.
He was one of the first people in the colonies to wear.
Remember when my brother's kids were born, he called me up. 10 fingers, 10 toes. Now they're pretty much
and
grown
Jane
up.
had glasses too. Franklin sent her spectacles. They had a brother who also wore glasses. But Franklin had this idea that you could use a single pair of glasses.
Yeah, I'm getting too old. Whoa, I got lots of slime on the camera. Lots of greasy goopy.
And make things smaller.
I gotta jack up the lower control arm. Because I can't push that down very much, and I can't lift it because there's a torsion bar attached to it. Isn't that fun? Got the jack right here.
Especially when this enormous amount of sources about his life
Call the EPA on me.
So I really sort of started thinking about what if I was running bicycles, you know, and every time I looked at her, I had to sort of amplify that. I had to magnify that a bit. And every time I looked in her, I had to make it a little bit smaller so that there could be a way to see both of them as equal before God, which is certainly how Jane understood their lives. As much as she admired her brother, she had this.
Putting the block of wood there, so I'm jacking up the control arm and not the ball joint, which is not what I want to do. I do want to jack up the
and she's forever
ball joint.
Apologizing for the way she writes. When she writes letters to her brother, she doesn't really spell. She doesn't really spell, I guess, as he would. She's always apologizing for the quality of her writing.
She's abject before God. I mean, she has a kind of submission that's, I think, fundamentally different to a lot of modern subjects, for sure, like a modern subject. But there is also, like, look, she just do it. And Franklin writes to her once. He says, you write better, in my opinion, than any American woman.
It'd be nice if I had a second person to hold the camera. I watch other people's videos. They got a silent partner holding the camera. Not around here. CCW is dealing with a paving guy. She cut down a tree. Dumpster placement, yada, yada, yada. She's busy. Like me.
The letter that I love above all is one she wrote in 1786 when she was living in North End in this little house that her brother had given her. She had just been reading this book about providence, the idea that everything that happens is fated by God, which had been the source of great comfort to her, the notion of providence all her life. That if her children died, it was fated by God for some good that she could not see. And she had really struggled with that notion, especially during the Revolution.
this political radical who was very influential in the colonies, talked about that although it takes 300,000 acorns to make an elm tree, God had meant for that to be. But that didn't mean we couldn't grieve all the other trees that did not find soil. And she quoted out a passage from this book as she was reading it in her letter to her brother. And I just love the way this woman is wrestling with a very learned philosophical idea and religious idea in the quiet of this room she had only recently ever even had. She'd never had a room quiet.
Studs.
Just
Gone.
wrestling.